Episode 27 here. We just picked the next one. Jimmy Walker, the right tackle, went to the Patriots. 74 overall. Very excited about our selection with the 21st pick overall. So hopefully we did well there. And right end, Russell Manning went. So now we're getting to the point where might not see so many people on our list. See, we already have one. This guy wasn't even on the top 32 board. Charles Rucker. Wide receiver. Quarterback 3, halfback 1. The halfback, number 1 halfback hasn't gone yet. Quarterback 2, quarterback 3. This guy is not on the list. Oh, 74 overall. Next pick, the Seahawks pick, Eddie Rogers. Wow, Eddie Rogers. He was 27th on the board. 25th pick overall to the Seahawks. 68 overall. And next up was the Colts, Kent Best. Kent Best was 20. Man, I didn't scout him, so he's 23 years old. Made him a little bit old. He was 12th on the board. 67 overall. He went 26th to the Colts. And the next pick is the Chargers. Another wide receiver. Kyle Leslie. 6th wide receiver on the board. There are a couple of wide receiver choices. I don't know if I would have took this one with the other options. 27th overall. Went to the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and draft. Next pick. Dylan Bishop. 2nd quarterback taken. 3rd quarterback taken. Oh yeah, Roy Polk was the 1st quarterback taken. That'll be the question. Roy Polk versus Preston Larson. Dylan Bishop. 23 overall, 66 overall. That's the lowest on the grade so far. 28th overall to the Chargers. Getting close to the Super Bowl winners. Middle linebacker Drew Ledford. Yes, a red linebacker. Yeah, this is unfortunate. This is one of my possibilities. He was 40th on the list. They took him 29th. Went to the Jags. There was not a whole heck of a lot of... Oops. Alright, and next up is the Saints, who take middle linebacker. Where are you, buddy? Colin Cotton. Must have been the 5th middle linebacker on the list because he is not on my list. Skip ahead of draft. Next pick is the Super Bowl winning No, they must have traded their pick away. It's hard to tell sometimes because it goes too quickly. Did the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl. Did they win the Super Bowl? Yeah. Eagles beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl. So the Eagles took a middle linebacker too. What is going on? Lance Rodriguez. I did not scout this guy. I didn't think he was going to be available. So, yeah, 64 overall. Middle linebacker, 130. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not the Eagles pick. This is the Ravens pick. Now, the Super Bowl champions. And the final pick in the first round. Malcolm Hawker. A strong safety. Alright, so let's take a look here before I go for the... This is what's left of the first round picks. You can see the center is projected to be a 4. So there's still 6 first rounders on there before we move into the second rounders. My draft board looks like this. So there's 2 second round picks on here. It's a slot receiver, mid round, second round talent, and late second round talent, wide receiver. So it looks like we're picking a wide receiver with our 2 pick. Hopefully he'll be available. He did not go to the combine. That's why I'm drafting him. Johnny Lynn here chose not to participate in the combine. And then mid 4th rounder with second round talent. I would rather have Johnny Lynn just to take a shot. And probably going to just go ahead and pop in once in a while with whenever someone is drafted that I had on my board. Not on my board, but check this out. The first 80 I've seen so far in Madden. Carl Waller, a halfback. He's not on my list at all. He must have been halfback number 3, because halfback 1 and 2 are still on the board. So the Raiders went with halfback number 3 and dropped themselves an 80 overall starter. Wow. Alright, here we go. Diamond Lockett, 28th on the board. He was selected 2x7 by the Bills. He was a 68 overall. First day pick, Brian Barksdale, finally goes to the Vikings. He was selected 2x9. Vikings. There is one green room player left. Maybe even a few. Well, I don't know. The 4th wide receiver on the list, the 5th wide receiver on the list, the second center are still remaining from the first round picks, the top 32. And Justin Taylor goes. He was a first round, 25th overall. Graded out to be a red player. I did look into him, but I was not. Titans didn't seem good for a 24-year-old center, so I passed on him, and he's a 64 overall, so he'd be better than our starting center, but our starting center has slightly more potential. So we're getting very close to our picks. Curtis Leach. Okay, no Curtis Leach. And Jimmy Sweating. I know it doesn't say that's Sweeting. He was a very athletic. I'm surprised by his rating. It's a very athletic pick that I reviewed. So, what was that? 2x20 to the Giants. And we are on the board. Let's take a look at our possibilities. There, the 2 first-round pick wide receivers are remaining. And our draft board looks like this. So we have the 3rd round wide receiver. We have lots of choices for our wide receivers here. So we can go with the late 2nd round talent or the mid 2nd round talent, or the not reviewed Let's just look at wide receivers here. We see that are possible. There's so many wide receivers in front of ours. We could go with this wide receiver. But as I said before, you know, we'll take the guy who didn't go to the combine, and we'll see what it says. Hidden talent, 43 overall. He's flexing a little bit, so he probably has star talent. So they kind of give it away with the flexing. But 69 overall, so he should jump into the play as a slot receiver right from the get-go. His ratings are 91 speed, 90 acceleration. But he chose not to do the combine, so that's our second pick. Seems like Johnny Lynn was a bit of a hothead at Washington State. Decided that he'd let his game tape be what chose the draft. You know, maybe he's going to be drafted or not, and he ends up getting picked by the Packers. And the Packers will move on now to their next pick in the 3rd round. See you soon. And here is Jordan Perry being drafted. Now, this was going to be our 3rd round pick, hopefully. And as you can see, 2x7, so 2x 23 Dolphins. So I don't know if we're going to have middle linebacker problems still this season with Nick Perry filling in. But that was one of our possibilities. Oops. And just because it stands out, the Lions have picked, or the Cowboys picked John Stans from Air Force, a 57 overall quarterback. Just thought that would be kind of funny to bring up. Nice job there in the 3rd round. The Packers were looking for a Jimmy Graham replacement, and Clayton Potts was brought in for a look-see. The Packers were not impressed by his skills and decided not to put him very high on their draft board, and he was taken in the 3rd round, 3x 11 by the Jets. And the Packers are on the board. Just look at the review offers for the 3rd round pick. A 4th and a 7th, a 4th and a 5th. Next year's 3rd and a 7th, 3rd and a 7th, 3rd, 4th and a 7th, 3rd and a 6th. So be next year's 4th and a 5th this year. You know, not great. There's the little hold the reorder tag on my screen there. So those 2 wide receivers still have not been drafted. Our draft board looks like this. We got this receiver, late 2nd rounder, early 3rd rounder, a faster wide receiver though. This guy was 2nd in 40-yard dash. We have 2 4th rounders coming up. Deep route catching. His catching is a B-. His catching is a B. Deep route is a B+. Deep route is... See, this guy looks better. Not too different there. So, does look like that we are going to go with Devin Oki here, the speedy wide receiver. A 94 speed wide receiver, 67 overall. Deep threat. Needs some work, but not a terrible pick for the Packers. Here was a halfback I brought in to see if I wanted to draft, and I decided not to, and he was taking one pick afterwards. 3x22, 59 overall. He was taken by the Pats, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. Another one, another halfback I was looking at that I brought in, 65 overall. He's taken 3x27 by the Cowboys. Late fourth rounder that I was looking at, 67 overall, 3x28 by the Chargers. There are 2 first round wide receivers still on the board here. These 2 guys. Man, this guy was 14th overall. And this guy was, I don't know. That's amazing. There's a lot of wide receivers here. All right. Here was a tight end I was looking at, 22-year-old Kamini Parker for X3. He was taken by Broncos. I think I spelled that right. And the middle linebacker, Mitch Kilgore here, that I was looking at, seemed to be falling down the draft. 64 overall. Went to the 49ers. He went, what, for X6? Takes a long time to do this. Those 2 wide receivers are still on the board from the first round. And I'm sad facing it because Evan Thomas was taken way before I was ready for X8 by the Cards. 65 overall. We are getting low on our possible draft picks already. Oops. And you can see that the wide receivers are still there. So there's some people that have fallen quite dramatically in this draft. And another possible Jimmy Graham replacement has now been drafted for X12. Chiefs have drafted Tommy Tanley. 65 overall. And we still don't see our pick coming up, so we got a while to go yet. And it finally ends for Jane Elam. 14th on the board, 21-year-old wide receiver, 65 overall. Taken 4x19 by the Panthers. But he's crying in the green room now as it's fallen all the way to the 4th round before he was drafted. His buddy Jamie Meredith, is still on the board with the Packers picking in 2 picks. And here are our 3 options to trade away the pick. So a 6th this year, a 7th next year, a 4th next year, and a 7th. So basically just picking up a 7th or a 5th this year. So this is the best one of them all. And no. So we'll take a look here at our draft board. All right, so we got this halfback here. Was a late 4th round elusive, powerful back. I don't know how he can be elusive with that kind of skills. We pick twice, and then we have this wide receiver here, who was the fastest wide receiver in the draft. Very tiny Vernon Coupler. So And then after that, you can see our draft board consists of 2 undraft talent, so they'll all just be freebies from there on out. We're taking Keyshawn Ebanks here with our pick. He reached 121, not too bad. We'll sit back, 64 overall. He's got some speed, is pretty good. But yeah, so I was kind of hoping. And here we go again. Jamie Meredith has now been drafted 426, 65 overall. He went to the Colts. That's the end of the first rounders in the beginning draft class. Doesn't really mean much, but it's fun to track. So I got a few players left on my board to look at, and we pick pretty soon. Here's our possible trades: a 6th and a 7th. 6th this round, 7th next year. A 5th this round, a 7th next year. And the rest are just trading back for no reason. So no. Oops, that's not what I wanted to make. I wanted to pick a player. We got a couple of stragglers, but let's look at our draft board. It's got Vernon Copeland on there, the fastest wide receiver in the thing. Very light, small, tiny guy. Draft a lot of wide receivers for some odd reason this draft. And availables are project players, reaches. Those last couple of rounds will be fun, but for this one, for the 32nd pick overall on here, we're gonna do Vernon Copeland just because, why not? 4x31 Packers, and he is going to be, he's 21 years old, so he's got some possibilities here. Normal development. Normal, yeah, look at that. 64 overall, so 120. So this is a good pick, supposedly. So we picked up 3 wide receivers, a quarterback. It's been all offense, this one. Number 13, wide receiver, 64 overall, 21 years old. And he was 120. Thank you. That was from the Eagles. Our trade back last year. And now we have to wait till the 5th round and go from there. Okay, guys, since we're completely out of ideas here, we're going to take Casey Hess, this left tackle who's agile. See what we get. Nope. 59 overall, so it was worth a shot, but it did not pan out very well. There was nothing to trade for. Everybody wanted to just trade back. Nobody wanted to give anything in the future or anything, so this pick was useless, and this is what we got out of it. Well, now we have some offers. They're all for next year's draft. So we got a 4th, a 4th, a 5th, a 4th, a 4th, a 4th, and a 4th. So I think we're going to give it to the Patriots for their 4th round pick. Would trade away this Chiefs pick for the Patriots 4th round in next year's draft instead of a player. So we'll turn this 6th into a 4th, which is beautiful. That's what we're going to do. And that's who they picked up with that 4th round trade. So they picked up Connor Strong. And he was a left tackle, 54 overall. And Mike Peppers was taken. I did not see by who. So that just leaves Cedric Davis here, who is the fastest tight end in the group, but he's very terrible. Projected to be a late first rounder. I'm sure he's just terrible. And I don't want to get him. So we need to make a selection, pick a player. Let's see what we have available. We have this cornerback here. I don't want to pick any more wide receivers. He's too slow. Left outside linebacker. Right outside linebacker. It's not very useful to me. Got some corners. We just don't know anything about them. Got this tight end here. Let's look at our positions of need. All that's left is undrafted talent for centers. Ooh, this is the fastest center, whatever that means. This guy's pretty strong. Alright, we'll take a chance at Joe. Nope, not at all. Joe Radich. Not even close. This is our last pick in the game. So, tight ends had 2 tight end possibilities here. He's got no skills whatsoever. It's a very strong vertical threat tight end. Blocking tight end is not a bad idea. And if we go to middle linebackers, yeah, see, this is just not. In this 3rd round pick that fell a little bit. Just not usefulness. Not usefulness anywhere. We know that this guy is undrafted talent. Do we pick this wide receiver? Man, that's a lot of wide receivers, and you know, some of them are going to get cut, so I don't think I want to. We already went the center route, huh? What about middle linebacker? Field general, middle linebacker. Let's take a stab at pass coverage middle linebacker, Jadon Dell. Yep. There you go. That was the end of that. They were we did go get our positions of need. So 82 speed, 77 tackle. Let's finish this draft and be done with it. That's it, guys. That's the end of the draft. Not a terribly long episode, but definitely time to end it, and we'll look at the draft class in the next episode, episode 28. Thanks for watching. BU Squalor signing out. Bye. Peace. Goodbye.